everyone and welcome to my series I Want to Start video. So the last couple of years I have been blasting through my comic book series like there's no tomorrow. I have managed to start and finish about, I've lost count, to be honest. I've completely and utterly lost count, and to be fair, that is mostly because of like Marvel releasing a ton of TV shows and films and stuff like this that's kind of motivated me for this. But at the same time, it means that I haven't actually focused on any series, and I haven't finished a couple this year, to be fair, in terms of novels. But I haven't finished as many as I'd hoped, and I also haven't started as many as I thought I would. And to be fair, a lot of these new series starters are now calling to me. So what I thought I'd do is make a video all about the ones that are calling to me and share with you some of the books that I really want to start. The first one is The School for Good and Evil, and I actually have a plan for this one, and that is that I'm going to be reading this around the time the film comes out, because the film's coming out soon on Netflix. I think it's like October, November time, and I like to read my books around the same time as the TV shows, films and everything else comes out. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be reading that then, but I am desperate to start this one. I have heard so many good things about it. It sounds right up my street. It's very fairy tale-esque and sort of good versus evil and sort of turning those things on their heads. And essentially this one has been on my list for a few years now. I've had it on my library wishlist for a very long time until I found this copy in a charity shop for 50p, so I gave up and bought it, and now it's sat on my shelf taunting me like, read me, and I'm going, no, not until the film comes out. But I am desperate to read this one. It says one witch girl, one princess, one happily never after, and it's sort of like one of these girls has dreamt of being a princess and believes that the School for Good and Evil is her chance, whereas the other one has other ideas, but they end up going to the opposite schools. So the one who wants to be a princess ends up in the School for Evil, and the one who thought she'd end up in the School for Evil ends up in the School for Good. That's all I really know. That's all I really want to know. I'm just very excited to finally read this one and also see the movie. There's also Pages & Co. I have been wanting to read this one for a really long time now. I got this in like January, I think it was, and since then I've seen this on a ton of people's TBRs, and it's taunting me again. This is absolutely taunting me again. This one is about Tilly, who has lived above her grandparents' bookshop her whole life, and one day her favourite book characters appear in the shop, and she discovers that she can follow them into their worlds through the magic of book wandering. It sounds absolutely wonderful. I so want to read this one because, again, I've heard nothing but good things about it, and everybody loves the series that I have seen. It's been on so many people's TBRs, and now I'm just desperate to get to it myself. I do not have any plans to read this one, specifically because, as far as I know, there's not an adaptation or anything, so there's no reason that I'm saving it. I'm just not reading it for no reason whatsoever, further than the fact that there's no reason. There is no reason. It just hasn't made it onto a TBR yet, but I really want it to soon. I also have The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. This one is, I think, a duology, if I remember rightly, but it's about a sentient city, essentially. I think there's some sort of, like, superhero element to it, if I remember rightly. Either way, it's N.K. Jemisin, and I really want to read it. I love the Broken Earth trilogy, so I really want to give another series of N.K. Jemisins a go. I think the sequel to this is coming out soon, if I remember rightly, and I now really want to read it, because again, I've heard nothing but good things about this book from everybody who has ever talked about it. It sounds amazing. I now trust N.K. Jemisin. Mostly, admittedly, I've only read one series of her, but I really want to read like this one and her other works, so I really want to give this one a go and see what all the hype is about. There's also We Hunt the Flame. I have not read this one because I heard that there was going to be a movie adaptation of this, and then I went, oh yeah, I'll wait until then, not realising or forgetting, more likely, that movie adaptations take years. And it's like, why would I just leave this on my shelf for like 5-6 years until the film comes out, when I can read it now, possibly finish the entire trilogy, and then go back and reread it again in time for the film to come out? I don't know why I haven't done this yet. I'm an idiot, essentially, but this one, the only thing I really know about this one is the famous lines on it. People lived because she killed, and people died because he lived. That's all I really know. That's all I really want to know. I've just heard so many people talking about this one. Someone specifically on Bookstagram called Stars Bright, I'll leave a link to her down below, is obsessed with this book, and I really want to see what the hype is about and finally read it. Which means I need to pull my finger out and stop waiting for the movie to actually read it. I have a real bad habit of waiting until the film or the TV show comes out to read a thing. But I need to stop doing that because there's a thing called rereading. I could just reread it when the film comes out and just read it now. I don't know why I don't do that. I am terrible for this. It is a really bad habit. It is a horrendously bad habit, and this video has just kind of really made me realise that I do that a lot and I need to stop. We then have The Mirror, The Broken Wish. Now this one is a series where each book is written by a different author. This one is Julie C. Dow, the next one is Donnie L. Clayton, then you have J.C. Cervantes, and then L.L. McKinney. Now I've only ever read L.L. McKinney's work, but I loved her work in A Blade So Black, and this is a sort of retelling YA series following one family over several generations and the curse that plagues it. It sounds really interesting. I'm pretty sure the second book has now come out, and I still haven't read the first one yet, so I really need to get to it because A, I want to read more retellings, and B, I need to start the series because it sounds really interesting. I'm always here for family curses, and this cover is really pretty as well, so I really need to get to it and just see what it's all about. I love the idea of like cursed families and things like this. I just need to pull my finger out and finally read it. I don't think there's even an adaptation of this one, so there's literally no reason for me to not read this one. Like none at all. I just need to get to it. I then have Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There may actually be a plan for this one, Watch This Space, but I still haven't read this one yet. For no reason. It has been on my shelves since I was born. This is actually my mum's book, and she's got the first 4 in the series. She doesn't have the final 2, but we've got these books. They're really, really short. They're sci-fi. I want to read more sci-fi. It sounds really funny as well because, like, it's supposed to be really funny in a lot of places. And this one is all about Arthur Dent, who has had his house demolished this morning, and saying the weekend has only just begun and the galaxy is a very strange and startling place, and the Earth is about to get unexpectedly demolished to make way for a new hyperspace bypass. I've heard really good things about this one. Obviously, I've not seen the film either. I've heard of the film, haven't watched it, but I've seen this sort of referenced everywhere. I just haven't read it yet, and I want to get to the references. I want to understand the references, so I need to read this one. And I have no excuse because it's really short and the film is already out. There's no excuse further than that. I just need to read it. And then finally we have Inkheart. Now, I recently rewatched the movie because we'd watched Brendan Fraser in The Mummy and then also George of the Jungle, which was really fun, and I wanted to see another Brendan Fraser movie because he's always a really good time and always does really good movies. And Inkheart was on Amazon Prime, and it was actually leaving Amazon Prime soon, so it was like, right, well, time to time to watch, I should say, Inkheart. And then I remembered that Paul Bettany's also in it, which is brilliant because I have a crush on Paul Bettany, thank you Vision. And I loved the movie, I absolutely loved it. We're following Meggie and her father hasn't read aloud to her since her mother mysteriously disappeared, and it turns out that the reason why is because when her father reads aloud, words come alive and dangerous characters step out of the pages. And I loved the movie. I love the concept of the movie. I then remembered that we have owned this book since 2008, hence why I've got the movie cover, because that's when the film came out, and I haven't read it yet. For absolutely no reason. I love the concept of like books coming alive and like reading people out of books and book magic, very much like Tilly and the Book Wanderers. I may do a reading vlog where I do both of them at the same time and like read both and compare the two. If you want me to do that, leave a comment down below and let me know, because that sounds like a fun reading vlog, at least for me anyway. But I just haven't read this yet. I even own Inkspell, which is the sequel, and I just haven't read either yet for no reason, so I really need to get to these, essentially. So, yeah, I really want to read this one. There is no excuse further than the fact that it's chunky, but that shouldn't really be a problem because I read chunky books quite often now. I just need to read it. I just genuinely just need to sit down and read it because I have no excuse. Like, none at all. It's been on my shelf for 14 years. It's about time I got to it at last. And that is just some of the books I really want to start. There are others as well, but I figure I should probably keep the series I'm starting list down and actually get through some of the books I've already started and actually finish some of the series first. But this gives me a few options, I guess. And I should actually probably read some of the other series I've already owned and I have already started first, but I may get distracted and read these anyway, I don't know. Either way, these are some of the books that I need to start, and I just need to pick them up essentially and stop putting them off for the movie or for other stupid reasons. So with that, I'm going to leave this video here. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me if you want that reading vlog, I'd love to know. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a book related emoji down below to let me know that you were here. And also leave a link as well down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is a website dedicated to Marvel Comics, which has got a ton of stuff on the various Marvel comic series I have been reading and recommending over the past couple of years if you are interested in that. I'll also leave a link as well down below to my Etsy and Redbubble store, which sells bookish merch if you're interested in that. Or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time everyone, bye!